Hey, Contra, aka The Fits. Got a little quick one for you. Not quick, but quick. You know where it come from. This one about snakes. And everybody got they, I don't know how you call it, feelings, how they feel about snakes. Some scared of them, this, that, and the next thing. It's just kind of natural, I guess, for a lot of people, especially if you're dealing with them poisonous ones. Here, we hadn't necessarily had known of any poisonous snakes here, but just in general, spiritually being, religiously. That old serpent, I think that's the one they say God cursed to crawl around on his belly or something like that, like a snake or a worm. Anyway, you got some people that actually act like that. And they got some two-headed snakes sometimes too. Real slithery and sneakyish, like conniving even. We got, let me see, personal situations. Now, you got some people like they say they got wolves in sheep's clothing. Similar concept, I guess. I ain't gonna call no names, but a situation where I was with somebody. I wouldn't say dating, but just kind of messing around anyway, hanging out. Tell me stories about they had stalkers and this, that, and the next thing, attack them and try, I don't know, kill them or something like that. All them kind of things, right? Now, mind you, I got everybody like they say, everybody battling they stuff demons, that the next thing. But since I happen to be around, I'm feeling like nobody's personal bodyguard. But if they with me, I mean, at the time, well, God bless us to be us. God bless them to be around me, I guess, at the time, if I could have protected them, if that's what it was. Now, I don't know who these people are, if it's a true story or not. But that's what I was told. A person called me one time while I wasn't around them at home. In Florida, I should say, while I was in school anyway. Staying by my aunt's house, get a call. He's here. I was like, who's here? The stalker. I was like, huh? Okay, well, I wasn't driving, but I rode over there because it wasn't too far on my bicycle to see what's going on. Now, when I say I was kind of cool with the chick, to the point where, I used to crash there and stuff sometimes. And, not saying I've had to let myself in, but, left the keys under the mat kind of thing, just go in, that kind of stuff. Me being kind of skeptical because I didn't, at that point, then been through some things and experienced some stuff anyhow. So, still a little skeptical, not thinking about that in them days. But since she called that time, I was like, well, I guess if she called, then it must be something going on. Get over there, knock on the door. I ain't see nobody, I ain't hear nobody open the door. I could hear music and stuff. She sometimes, I guess, as far as I know, leave the radio on and that kind of thing. And it just so happens she done got me accustomed to this situation where she like to pass out and black out and stuff from bad asthma attacks and shit. So somehow I'm saying, in my mind, I hear like air conditioner or whatever music playing and stuff as if somebody's inside. So I'm thinking, I don't know if some person, whoever's in there with them. So I was like, well, let me go around and crawl up the balcony and on the second floor and go through the glass door and see if that might be open, just in case she in there crop out, fall out on one of her, what you call it, thingums or stuff, or something actually happened. Go inside, nobody inside. I was like, okay. I think I called back. It's like, where are you, or that kind of thing. Apparently she been out somewhere anyway. And as I'm trying to walk out the door, lo and behold, she shows up. Hee hee ha, smiling, partying. I don't know if she was with whoever the person was, but some dude came up the stairs kind of behind her. Nah, it seemed like she knew him. If that's who she was talking about, well, I don't know. But she didn't let me go outside, and she seems kind of strange, as if she want to know what I'm doing there, as if she didn't just call me and tell me more or less help. So, from the outside world looking in, how this place was set up is like a circle complex apartment. So if anybody from anywhere on the other side of the apartment buildings, all they know is they see somebody crawling up the place like Spider-Man trying to get inside this place, probably maybe trying to break in, as far as they're concerned. Whether they know the truth or what's going on anyway. But I wasn't really checking for them. So not that I could see anybody, but if anybody was there and around, they probably clearly wasn't really checking for the whole situation because it might not have seemed like nothing. But it either was something or it wasn't. Like they say, my spotty insects said, well, at least let's go check it out. All clear, ain't nobody in there. She walking around strong and looking like there ain't nothing happened, as if it was a totally different person that called me and said what they said. And I'm saying, no, I risk it myself because I don't know if I'm walking into some kind of ambush or something like that. But ambush or not, people, as far as they're concerned, only see somebody look like they might have broken into the place. I end up staying there, and I don't know if she dropped me home afterwards. Anyhow, saying, oh, don't go outside. She didn't want to let me leave, as if whoever was there was outside. Now, I don't know who these people is, and I don't know if I seen them at all, but that's what she was talking about. But she didn't seem like she was scared of nobody, how she was acting when she came inside. More or less just surprised to see me. And I still don't know what happened as a result of that. The next thing, when I'm staying by my aunt's house, used to get these calls from the, penitentiary or state prison or whatever, jail anyway. They got somebody in there as an inmate, they got to get permission, I guess, to use the phone, and then approved by whoever they call and that they actually don't mind the call coming through. So the answering service used to be like, call coming through from such and such a prison or a jail or something like that. And my aunt's like, don't answer that. I was like, okay, I don't answer it. I don't know nobody in jail over there in Florida, so it ain't nothing to me. Never said who was calling. I never really actually bothered to ask too much. Come to find out, a relative of hers/ours apparently had been trying to call for whatever reason, to probably just to get call. I don't know who, for whatever it was. Then supposedly this chick is what told me when she actually did get out of jail, hint hint, maybe out of jealousy or spite or whatever, called the police on me whilst I was over there. She had actually come to the house and came inside, and I don't know if her and little friends or this or whatever, out of spite, probably didn't know who it was, if that was actually who it was. Devil real busy and sneaky like that snake, pretended, impersonating even. So when I actually found out later on that when I had my situation and came home, and she was actually in the place when I actually got back, and I spent one night in that, what do you call it, place before I got home. Anyway, you got some things that seem familiar, like you've seen them somewhere before, and like I said, the devil will pop up sometimes as people that you actually know or familiar with, which might sound, well, if you believe in God, you believe in everything is possible. So conniving and sneaky is something that people do. The devil got it on a totally different level. Anyway, to my recollection, this person's older brother came to my graduation in high school when I was in the States. And not say he came there, he was in a stroller, so he was pretty much a baby. She wasn't even born yet. So when she told me, quote unquote, she was like, I think she said 18 or something like that. So I guess she could, ride around, and I mean, not like I really went anywhere other than like maybe the library or the gym, I think. Cousin of mine, and anyway. In other words, to make a long story short, supposedly. But she told me she's 18, and I'm just like, hold on a second. She's 18, and I only know my cousin to have had 2 children, and she's the younger one, like 4 or 5 years. How could she be 18? And at the time, I'm saying this, like, I graduated in 94, and I was 18. 94 to 2004, and then let me see, that was like 2007, I think, 2006, and a 2007 or so, I think. So from 94, 2004, add another 3 years, that's 13 years. So in my mind, I'm saying, if that's who this is, at the very oldest, to me, she should probably really be only like 14, maybe 15 at the oldest, not 18. So I'm like, does this thing have the appearance and not have the personal history of the person they pretending to be, as far as knowing what age to say they was? Or is this a familiar thing from in the past that had been plotting on me and showed up there to cause problems? Well, anyway, after the problems happened, it showed up in Living Gullo. I actually brought around a couple of friends. One of them actual name was actually Diallo. And my aunt picked up and moved out of the outer house and went into the home, and her son, who's this thing was supposedly the father of, picked up and moved to wherever else he was staying and left me there with it. And I'm like saying, hold on, why I ain't the babysitter here with you? Why y'all avoiding this person? And then they show up, and now all of a sudden everybody break off running, and they ain't saying nothing to me. But who it is or what it is or who it is, all I know is it sounding real strange, and like I don't need to be around it myself. But I had already been clamped down, house arrest, and community control or probation, and couldn't really move anywhere anyway if I wanted to. So funny how that snake kind of happened. And like it trapped me and then was what planning to try and devour me. Weird. Not weird, but I read the Bible enough to know how a lot of this stuff happens. And it's, I guess, was supposed to and expected to happen. I got my laptop computer. Finally, my mommy bought me one when I was starting the business section of my school program, because the ones that I was told at school had been given out to people in that program wasn't really coming around or happening to be, or maybe they gave them to somebody else. Got my computer anyway. You know me, like I said, I used to watch my movies and adult movies and stuff like that. And the state's laws are different than over here. Like, they real strict on child stuff, this, that, the next thing. So, quote unquote, you supposedly could possibly even get in trouble for even having them, I guess, I don't know, some of these sites, if you get into, they probably try and get you in trouble for allowing children access to certain stuff. Not saying you give them permission to, but I guess it's their word against theirs. And this, since that thing ain't playing fair, I was like, hey, your daddy got a lot of stuff, computers and gadgets and stuff like that for his music and stuff for the church and church, quote unquote. You don't really need to use my one little personal laptop or nothing like that. So I don't expect to see you actually really fooling with it. So don't fool with my stuff. But anyway, I come home one day after they moved their 7-foot giant homosexual roommate into my particular room for some reason. Also, where he came from, I don't know, but it seemed like they was trying to work on my insomnia to get cranked up from that. The room probably about the size of this, or maybe a little smaller. One bed this side, and another bed on that side of the room. And this dude snore like a flicking souped up chainsaw in the flicking middle of the night. The only thing I'm thinking, as long as he stay in his bed in the middle of the night, shouldn't have no extra problems. So I was like over there. But I didn't know who he was, but he told me his situation. I was like, it kind of put me at ease, because sometimes these fruits, they decide to not play like fruit sometimes. So not that he could hide it, it was kind of dropping off him. If, like how we say, he couldn't really hide it. He's one of them who just was like that. Come to find out, he wasn't actually always like that. Been through some stuff apparently as a child where he was molested from a real young age, and I guess he became that way. So probably had some kind of somewhat feelings. Anyway, all I'm saying is this: I didn't ask nobody for no roommate. I didn't expect to have none, but somebody thought it was maybe funny to bring in a 7 foot tall, probably 400 pound, one of them kind of folks, to live in the room with me. All after this person actually showed up, but anyway, it's strange, but biblically I was, quote unquote, thank God, somehow prepared for some weirdness at least. Anyway, me and dude sitting in the room one time, and I just, as a habit from being here, in Bahamas, we don't always walk around with, shirts on and stuff like that. We have on pants, but used to walking around, bareback and that kind of thing, getting sun and that kind of stuff. So I'm just sitting there just inside the room, bareback. Not that I walk around outside around the place, around my yard, because I know they little bit slightly different, I guess, throw on a shirt. But in my room, I just sitting there chilling because it's hot. Sitting there because ain't no air conditioning, just chilling. Me and him actually talking. Girl walk into the room hollering some shit, but she got it to download. I was like, frick is she talking about download? I'm thinking, she been on my computer and done some kind of weird shit or something like that. Next thing I know, I'm getting flicking emails of stuff happening that ain't supposed to have happened or be happening, and I'm already on with like house arrest or probation or something like that. So I know they screening my computer and activity for whatever reason, even if it's just to monitor or whatever. So I'm thinking all kind of weird stuff. Next thing I know, chick turned out she flicking pregnant. I was like, what? No one else in the house but the big sissy dude. I would have not really thought, well, anyway, anything's possible. But I never seen a horse stayed a chihuahua in my life. But just saying, I know it ain't me. I had to I called my grandma's like, I don't know what's going on, but it looked like Aunt so and so got so and so pregnant. Just being funny. I could hear my grandma laughing on the other side of the flicking on the other side of the phone. I think I was actually when I was in the immigration. I tell people when them pictures showed up, I was like, I sent a message to them say, I don't know what's going on, but I about to make these people deport me before some really weird and strange sound happened. Lo and behold, thing, whatever, probably didn't convince people around the neighborhood that me and her was some kind of something going on or something like that. Because, some folks just don't like to ask questions. And when things seem like they wanted to seem, they can't just want to tend to just leave it and let it stew and bubble over the way it actually may appear to be. Come to find out, totally ain't the case. Anyway, I get home. Come to find out, who knows what happened to the girl? If she stayed there, her daddy stayed there, who stayed where? My aunt probably, apparently, I don't know if she came back out of the home or whatever, but all of that, in other words, to just say, all right, you're getting close to your thing and that stuff, or whatever. You haven't been able to, quote unquote, find a job. Mind you, I did towards the end, not necessarily who I would have probably wanted to work for, but just saying, I did find something. But the whole other time, stuff that was seemingly available for someone in my area, but I was actually studying, didn't actually get anything. Small area, I don't know if it felt like maybe the word had just gotten out. Okay, this guy's, we don't want this, that, whatever. Or please send him home, or maybe it came from here to hurry up and send me back home for whatever reason. Not that I told anybody that I wanted to hurry up and come back home, because what my program is, I want to get into some some competitions and stuff like that if possible, once I get my leg surgery done and everything. So all the while smiling, everybody in my face, oh yeah, it's nice to have you here and all that kind of stuff, which it felt so. Met some nice people and stuff like that, but behind the scenes, while I'm thinking I'm gonna be cool to stay over there, stuff just had seemed to have been set in motion for me not to stay in there, or if so, even in that area. It's actually not being able really to move around with some type of arrest record for whatever reason made things harder after I had gone all out, like I said, getting the grades and stuff like that I had in that program. So I'm working hard as I could in the direction God point me in, and in the same direction same time. Stuff was just all around, just seemed just not meant to work out. Meant to go check out the only track. You know, I like to run track in the area. One of the high schools, local high schools. Nor ordinarily public high schools in the States and stuff like that. Their facilities are kind of, open to the general public ones. I guess the school and stuff isn't using it, even if you got to go and sign up and get permission. The gates for the track was locked. A couple of times I rode up there, gates for the track was locked. And it's like, wow, that's had me thinking from then. Stuff was strange. All the pretty girls I remember being around when I used to take little trips and stuff like that around, going to Disney World and stuff back in the day. Hardly any there. Some around the clubs and stuff like that. Probably just people from out of town and colleges or whatever, but place just didn't seem as authentic as it probably should have. Why? Snakes do some snaky type of stuff. Anyway, you got some people out there who do all kind of stuff and then holler and stuff like that, help, 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 and then you run out there to go and help them. And whilst you, whatever else you doing to try and help them, they on the inside to the police trying all like you attacking them. And they so flipping simple with it sometimes. They don't realize that when they do these things, sometimes they hem their own self up. How you gonna call the flipping police on somebody who in police custody, under surveillance, and then they might miss and risk and try and assist you, and then when you get there, they watching you act as if the person doing you something. What? Not everybody's snakish. It might seem funny to some people, but at the end of the day, everybody ain't bad. So Bahamas wasn't always a snake-friendly place. Most of the times growing up, you see people that I known to be around, sometimes myself included, if they hit the wrong place, they stay right there on most occasions. You throw a rock at them, you got a cutlass or something like cut their head off or something like that. Whatever they do, people ain't necessarily snake-friendly or hadn't been. Probably because of that same stuff in the Bible where God says who was the snake or the serpent and stuff like that. So probably just got accustomed to just in case. You never know which one of these buggers might be that actual one. So maybe that's probably how it was. People just used to be not always that snake friendly. But some people are. I never seen no boa constrictor belts or boot skin, nothing like that as of yet, maybe because they ain't that popular. But I got the funny feeling some folks over in certain areas in the States don't think it's a bad idea for that snake skin boots and belts and hats and all them kind of different things either, just in case. We know which one of them might be it. So since there's plenty of them, whilst we making use of them, we might as well just see if any of them might actually be the one God looking for to, quote unquote, be the end. Anyway, I'm about to go out, waiting on this email to go and pick up my filter for the shower so I can stop bathing in whatever kind of pond cesspit water this is with no filter. Anyway, yeah, I get to start bathing in some clean water. Get the skin cleared up. Thank God for pointing me in the direction of finding one of those that I don't have to rely on the outside connection. I just got to get me 2 more of them for the taps in the sink. Crunch out.